The Salvos are really good at working on the streets in every city in Australia. This is our forte. This is what we're called to do. Help people at their point of need. We need support from ACL to help us in the halls of government, to help us make sure the message gets across to those who are making the policy decisions in the country, and so that they hear firsthand of the extraordinary needs of Australians.
Well, Australia is largely a Christian country. The fact that people have Christian belief shouldn't discount them from having a voice in terms of the future directions of Australia, and ACL is an organisation that fits that role in a very timely and appropriate manner. I've worked with Jim Wallace over a number of years in a variety of portfolios. I find him a genuine, decent, honest, thoroughly professional person, someone who cares deeply about the issues which he raises.
The main effort is that of the church, because the church is going to change this community, this nation from the bottom. It's a changing heart.
I think Christians will do well to jump on board with an organisation like ACL, because I think it'll have an increasingly important role to play in the community. As Jim Wallace often says, someone's morality is going to get legislated, and so I guess it's just a vital thing that the Christian community has a voice in that important area of government and public policy.
I think the voice of the Christian church has been very, very weak over the decades, and I think ACL is helping us to raise the voice so that we're speaking with very often a corporate voice and saying this is what the scriptures would say about certain issues, and so there's representation to people who are the decision makers.
I think if you're looking for allies on this argument, it's good to have political colleagues and academics who can express a case, but to have the broad base of the Australian Christian lobby is important.
It's very often the case now that politicians and decision makers want to know clearly and succinctly what the Christian view of an issue, moral, sometimes economic, sometimes foreign policy related, might be. It's terribly important that they're able to access that view and to know that it's well researched and it's well thought through and it's likely to have the backing of the Christians in our community, who after all, in the end, are, I still think, a very important part of our society. And the ACL provides that voice. And in that context, it really does deserve and need our support.
Nowadays, the Australian Christian lobby has become a very important, I would say indispensable part of the political scene. You don't have to agree with everything the ACL may stand for to recognise how important it is that we have the ability to organise Christians so that we can have a Christian point of view right there, particularly in the federal capital. I'd like to endorse the work. I think it's great work, and I hope it continues, and particularly under the present leadership.
The Australian Christian lobby's values that it stands for is incredibly important to Christians right across Australia. You see, as we're in an age where the Judeo-Christian ethic seems to be disappearing from our culture, we need the Australian Christian lobby to stand strong for all of us, lobbying, working and negotiating for our values to remain, for our kids' future, for the future of this nation. It is incredibly important. If we have any chance of rebuilding this nation, re-establishing the values that it was built upon, the success and the freedoms that we all enjoy now, we need the Australian Christian lobby. In the least, we need to give them money, we need to pray for them, and we need to be right there championing them on in the incredible work they do in our political arena.
The Australian Christian lobby is the voice for values, trying to bring Christ's influence into our parliament so it impacts public policy. We hope you'll join us in this great endeavour in bringing Christ's influence into the parliaments of our nation.